It's not, it's turned on, I hear it, yeah.
It's on now.
Okay.
So here's what hopefully you'll never need to do. We're going to go up here, we're going to do this. We're going to turn this gain down. This is why I tried to get there right in the middle. Okay, go ahead and speak.
Okay, it's morning.
There we go. So we adjust this gain to the maximum limit. We have a good gain. Go ahead, speak.
Okay, we're here this morning at First Unitarian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. So just, I don't need to project, just standard volume. Morning.
Okay, yeah, keep going.
Welcome to everyone here at First Unitarian Church of Toledo.
An occasional orange is okay.
Yeah.
And similarly, if there's not enough, let's see how it's totally right there. There's no signal.
So is there a signal now
Yeah,
when I'm
yeah.
talking?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good.
Actually, I should switch these out because it occurs to me. Has the stage directions. Those are useful.
I'll be testing, Melissa. Okay, I'm gonna start talking now. Everybody should be really thrilled to hear this. I love you too. Do, 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 do. Whoever you are, you're wonderful, wonderful. Hey, this is how I talk though. I usually talk really loudly, so you might have to adjust. Because I'm not used to being quiet and demure. Oh, I'm happy, 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 happy. Yeah, loudly happy, gleeful.
All right, music is playing.
Can you hear me? Yes. I'm so excited to be here today and see all your beautiful faces. Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Toledo. I'm here with Rebecca Phillips. I'm Krista Schneider. I'm sorry, I should have introduced myself first. Rebecca Phillips will be giving the sermon today, and I'm really excited to hear it. Jeffrey Maxey is at the piano. Jeffrey. We're so lucky to have Jeffrey. I saw him play out the other day, and I just love it. Jenny Gottman. Where's Jenny? Jenny's going to be telling our story today, religious education director. Oh, and then we have the tech crew in the back, where I was supposed to be today running the cameras, but at the last minute, last night, Terry McAuliffe, who was supposed to do this, couldn't do it, so we figured it all out. Yay us, woohoo! So what we have back there is Andy Gottman doing the directing, and David Strickler running the cameras. So I think with David running the cameras, instead of adding 10 pounds, it might add like 15 or 20 if you're watching at home. That would explain that. And Melissa Jeter is on the soundboard. Our producer, Walter McGee, is still recovering and working through his health issues, and we are sending him so much love and hoping for the best. And actually, if you could all just send him a little extra love, because when the intro's running, I was testing my mic, and I didn't realize that was actually going out live over the internet, where I'm sure Walter was watching. And so he might have just had a couple heartbeat skips. Anyway, there's so many more people to thank. Our kitchen crew with Carla, Logan Mercer. And you guys, anybody who wants to help out today in the kitchen, you should help out afterwards, because I said I would, and I would love to get out of here quickly. And there's people greeting us and making us safe, so welcome. I do want to invite you after church today. There is the potluck and coffee hour, and that is right down the hall, right down this hallway in Fellowship Hall, which is on the left. Again, if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, remember that extra 15 pounds, please, and welcome. Rebecca?
Good morning. I'm Rebecca Phillips, and I'll try to add to Krista's welcome. The flame of the chalice that we light every week in our services symbolizes courage and illumination, and it honors our search for the light of truth and meaning. So let's all say the words for our chalice lighting together, either on the screen and in your order of service, as Krista lights the flame. Our chalice has the spirit of Unitarian Universalism. We light it with centered love. May it glow with sacredness and shine for each and for all. And now let's continue reciting together while Krista leads us in the covenant of our congregation.
Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
In this first of 3 intentional times of spiritual practice in our Sunday services, we look beyond ourselves. In this frightening time in the world at large, there are people in our circles who, with their family and friends, are facing challenges of life and death, health and illness, home and travel, financial security and monetary stress. And individual and family ways go on, with new lives born and many other joys and celebrations. But we all have bad days as well as good. So may kindness and gentleness always be with us. May we be compassionate to all, and since we don't know what other people are going through, treat one another well. May we be glad for their celebrations and ours. And let's continue to have First Unitarian be a place of welcome, of grace, even of refuge in hard times. In this liberal religious community, we can help one another, care for ourselves, and have our part in changing the world. Please share mercy and dignity, and remember to breathe. One reason we join in religious programming is to realize common links. The uncommon is here too. So let's be together in faith, hope, and love. And for anyone who didn't know, if you have a joy or concern and would like to light a candle, feel free to do that anytime during the service when music is playing. And on that note, no pun intended, let's join in our opening hymn, number 128, For All That Is Our Life. And for those willing and able, please stand.
that's a surprise.
Oh, sorry.
This is the question. Does anybody know what this is? Y'all, who knows what this is? The Wonder Box. Everybody say ooh. Everybody say ah. What child? Hello, new children just walked in. Hello. Who would like to open our Wonder Box today? Jalen, you had your first hand up. Jalen asked. Open it up, Jalen, and show the people what's inside. It's a chalice. La-ta-ta-ta. With a fake candle so we don't have a fire hazard. This child knows the score. We're not going to taste it. All right. We have a chalice in our Wonder Box today because we are talking about a famous woman who shares our religion. She is a UU. She's a UU. Has anybody here, kids or grown-ups, seen the Barbie movie? No. Oh my goodness gracious. What? Your mom made you? Well, your mom did you a service because the Barbie movie is very educational.
My mama made her belly.
All right. Your mama did that? That's so silly. Oh my goodness. Yes, the Towns came from his mommy's belly and then turned into a boy. So that's how the circle of life goes. I feel like now we should just hand the mic to the children. I feel like they're doing better than I am.
You've lost the service.
Yeah. Put the mic in their hands. Yeah, we would probably get a very cool story that way. Unfortunately, we have the story that I wrote. So, the Barbie movie is all about our Unitarian Universalist values. Do you remember in the very beginning of the Barbie movie how Barbie's life is super simple and she always does everything exactly the way she wants to do it all the time? Because she's a toy, that's a whole thing right there. And then eventually Barbie learns that life doesn't really work that way. You know, you don't get to do the things that you want to do all the time. And she goes through some tough situations that make her grow and change into a wiser person. And that's transformation. Going through tough things in life and learning from them, that's our value of transformation. So then, when Barbie starts to go through that tough time, do you remember she goes to talk to Weird Barbie? La-ta-ta-ta. Weird Barbie. And all the other, the crazy one. She's on the TV? Weird Barbie is a Barbie that all of the other Barbies didn't really want to hang out with. They thought she was too weird and too strange. But Weird Barbie was the only one who really understood what stereotypical Barbie was going through. And so she talked to stereotypical Barbie about how she could better live her life and how she could handle the things that were happening to her. And that's an example of generosity. Even though, sorry, I got distracted by the dog. Even though Barbie the other Barbies weren't super friendly to Weird Barbie still shared her wisdom and her generosity with her heart. And that is an example of the value of generosity. And it's also an example of the value of pluralism, which means that we don't all have to be alike to be friends with each other. After Barbie talks to Weird Barbie, do you remember what else happens? Does anybody remember Mojo Dojo Casa House? That happens when all the Kens get together. And
I remember Ken, he's probably my favorite character.
yeah, Ken was hilarious. Yours too, yeah. Well, maybe. So so all the Kens get together and decide that they're going to be in charge all of a sudden, and they're not going to let the Barbies have a vote on anything. And that's an unjust world, and it's very uncool. So the Barbies organized and talked to the Kens and talked to each other about how to create a world that was more fair for them. And so when they did that, they initially turned Barbie Land back into how it was in the beginning, but that actually wasn't very fair either, because Barbie never listened to what Ken had to say. She was friendly to him, but when he was talking to her about things that really mattered to him, she didn't really care all that much. She didn't really pay attention. And so Ken told her that the way she treated him hurt his feelings. And so what did Barbie do? She apologized. She said she was sorry she hurt his feelings, and she said she would start treating him better. And so that's how all of the Barbies and Kens got together to make the world more fair and just. And that is an example of equity. Hey, children in the front, would you please sit down, please? Thank you. Thank you. So, hello. So all of the Barbies and Alan got together to make the world more fair and just. And so, what are the UU values that we learn about in the Barbie movie? We learn about justice and equity, transformation, pluralism, generosity, and what's the other one? Equity, justice, interdependence. Because all the Barbies have to get together and work together to make the changes in the world that they want to make. So, what do we learn from the Barbie movie? We learned that being weird is awesome, and working together is the best way to get anything done. And we also learned that if you are someone like Alan, and you're really neither a Barbie nor a Ken, you shine on, you crazy diamond. The world needs you just the way you are. Thank you. All right, SpaghettiOs. Let's get out of here.
As far as you can see, on a crisp, clear day, for all that we have lost, life still finds a way. Every note we've ever sung still rings. The coldest winter frost will finally pass. Spring, the roads that led us here were knit by fate. No matter how we tried, there is no escape. We will know joy, we will know loss and pain. We will know love whose fickle wants to wax and wane. Our wounds are deep, and so's our laughter. The thread that joins and forms to grasp how the answers are less prime than the questions asked. Time holds us in a soft embrace and gives us each waking moment to some small share of grace. Our wounds are deep and souls are laughter. The thread that joins them informs our faith. And if you need a place to shelter, come join the dance. That's how we pray. Nothing's ever promised. We've learned how to survive by choosing to make caring for each other be the guide. Our wounds are deep and souls are laughter. This thread that joins them informs our faith. And if you need, yes, a place to shelter, then join the dance. That's how we pray.
For our second time of spiritual practice this morning, I've chosen a reading by Stephen M. Schick called In Troubled Times. From the loneliness of troubled times, we come to discover that we are not alone. Into the dwelling place of togetherness, we come to collect remnants of hope. From fear that all is lost, we come to discover what will save us. Into the comfort of each other's arms, we come to feel the strength that has not yet vanished. From darkness, we come to wait until our eyes begin to see. Into the refuge of fading dreams, we come to remove illusions and focus new visions. From despair that walks alone, we come to travel together. Into the dwelling place of generations, we come to pledge allegiance to being peace and doing justice. And now, a minute of silence.
Today's reading, They Are With Us Still. By Kathleen McTee. They Are With Us Still by Kathleen McTee.
Who's the other one?
Maybe. We'll let Alyssa work this out. I think she's got it. Melissa is our Melissa! It's very hard because I have a lot of cavities in the metal, probably just messes them up. But I really enjoyed all the candy I had as a child and young adult, so it's totally worth it. I hope you don't mind. Today's reading, They Are With Us Still by Kathleen McTee. In the struggles we choose for ourselves, in the ways we move forward in our lives and bring our world forward with us, it is right to remember the names of those who gave us strength in this choice of living. It is right to name the power of hard lives well lived. We share a history with those lives. We belong to the same motion. They too were strengthened by what had gone before. They too were drawn on by the vision of what might come to be. Those who lived before us, who struggled for justice and suffered injustice before us, have not melted into the dust and have not disappeared. They are with us still. The lives they lived hold us steady. Their words remind us and call us back to ourselves. Their courage and love evoke our own. We, the living, carry them with us. We are their voices, their hands and their hearts. We take them with us, and with them choose the deeper path of living.
Can you hear me? Yes. This talk on Unitarian Universalists and Unitarian Universalist women has been in the works for a while, but it feels serendipitous that last week's GA sermon by the Reverend Dr. Nicole Kirk dealt in part with our spiritual ancestors, a subject that I'm continuing today. But I begin with a caveat. This talk is not and could not be exhaustive. And so this reflection is leaving out way more people than it includes. So if your favorite UU ancestor is not mentioned, you could take a turn as a lay speaker. Just saying. And it probably won't surprise anyone to know that women have been a big part of Unitarian and Universalist history before there was such a thing as a Unitarian or Universalist church. Back in the 17th century, an English visionary named Jane Lee wrote of universal salvation and had visions of holy wisdom, whom she imaged as a kind of goddess. And I have to tell you, Lee was kind of an eccentric. She had a practice of going into trance and chanting, and her followers would write down what she said, and then they would get published as books eventually. But why I include her in this history is that her vision of this divine female figure and her insistence that all souls would eventually be united with the divine made her a major early figure in what in 1694, which I took as my starting date, was called Christian Universalism. Now moving to this side of the Atlantic, most of us have heard of John Murray, the former Calvinist, the Universalist convert who lost his faith, sailed to North America after a series of tragedies that included the deaths of his wife and their infant child. But not all of us are familiar with his second wife, Judith Sargent Stevens Murray. The wife of a sea captain, she and her family helped Murray Murray found the first Universalist church in 1779. Judith was also a signer of the lawsuit that resulted in the Massachusetts Supreme Court decision to eliminate tax support for an established church, thus establishing freedom of religion in that state in the 1780s. That was pretty early. Now, Judith's first husband lost his income and his assets in the Revolution, and so he fled to the West Indies to avoid debtor's prison, leaving her and his bills behind. He died in 1786, and she married John Murray in 1788. And by all accounts, they were a very happy couple and partners in his ministry till he died in 1815. Encouraged by her father to read and study, Judith Murray had written poetry and essays from her childhood on. Okay, it was a little thing. Her first published work was a Universalist catechism, and she went on to write for popular magazines under a variety of pseudonyms, which was typical for women, especially in those days. Her play, The Medium, was the first by an American to be performed on stage, and her best-known work, On the Equality of the Sexes, asks, is it reasonable that a candidate for immortality, an intelligent being who is to spend an eternity in contemplating the works of deity, should at present be so degraded as to be allowed no other ideas than those suggested by the mechanism of a pudding or sewing the seams of a garment? Her argument for the intellectual equality of men and women was part of the basis for the idea of Republican motherhood, which argued that our form of government required educated citizens, and therefore educated women were necessary to be the mothers of those citizens. Abigail Adams, whom I've heard of, was another advocate of this idea, and Murray was so popular that George Washington and John Adams were subscribers to her essay collections. It was not only education and women's rights that UU women were involved in. The English novelist Elizabeth Gaskell took on the issue of what industrialization and the concentration of wealth did to working people. Isn't it interesting how some of the issues stay with us? The wife of William Gaskell, Unitarian minister in the industrial city of Manchester, England, Elizabeth Gaskell began writing seriously after the death of their young son. And for anyone who may not know, Manchester was the city profiled in Friedrich Engels' Condition of the Working Class in England, in which he describes the neighborhood Angel Meadows as hell upon earth. Gaskell's first novel, Mary Barton, concerns the lives of people who live in this hell, and as you might expect, caused controversy almost immediately for its portrayal of the contrast between the lives of rich and poor in her adopted city. It brought her to the attention of Charles Dickens, who invited her to write for his magazine, although I have to say he eventually got frustrated with her difficulties with deadlines and her unwillingness to take his editorial advice, and he once wrote to a friend that if I were her husband, I should beat her. Her husband didn't listen. Gaskell's third book, Ruth, was even more controversial than her ceremonies were attended by people like Elizabeth Cady Stanton, William Lloyd Garrison, and their fellow Universalist, P.T. Barnum. Yeah. Abolitionists and feminists, no surprise, Alice served as president of one of the country's first women's clubs, while Phoebe edited Susan B. Anthony's newspaper, Revolution. The bulk of their poetry was inspirational, some of it being set to music as hymns, but Phoebe was also known for her sometimes sarcastic sense of humor. Here's part of her poem, The Annoyer. Love knoweth everybody's house, and every human haunt, and comes unbidden everywhere, like people we don't want. And not all abolitionists, feminists, Unitarians, or Universalists were white and middle class. Frances Eleanor Watkins Harper was born a free black woman in Maryland and taught for some time in both Columbus and Wilberforce, Ohio. An educated woman who was never enslaved, but who had to abandon her birth state because of the threat of enslavement, Harper moved south after the war and worked to open schools for newly emancipated people. A popular writer and lecturer, she published the first short story by an African American, along with several novels and volumes of poetry. As an activist, she worked intersectionally before that term was invented, arguing that the rights of black men and those of women of all races were intertwined, though she split with some of her white suffragist counterparts over their lack of support for the 15th Amendment. And if you lose your amendments, the 15th Amendment granted the vote to black men without granting the vote to women. Harper lived to be 85, a great age in those days. And despite the failure of Reconstruction and the seeming failure of suffragism, she never gave up working and hoping for a better future. And she published her last book in her mid-70s. Even closer to home is the work of Larissa Titus Lathrop, a New York Quaker who moved to Sylvania and married a Unitarian minister. While there, she became part of the Underground Railroad in this area. And when the Lathrops built their home, the basement included a false oven in the summer kitchen, an oven that concealed a hiding place for freedom seekers on their way to Canada. Unfortunately, from the perspective of a literature and history nerd, she was not a writer and didn't document her work. I just lost a page. Oops. Oh no. Yes, you know what? I've got a copy. Left out the first. Oh dear, no. This is another Ohio writer. Not as close as Mrs. Lathrop. But this might surprise you, but activism found its way to rural southeast Ohio. Frances Dana Barker Gage wrote popular pieces for children under the name Aunt Fanny, and also political pieces under her own name. She grew up just outside Marietta, and after her marriage, lived for many years in McConnellsville, where she led the first women's rights convention in southern Ohio in 1850. According to local newspaper accounts, the attendees submitted a memorandum proposing the Ohio Constitution omit the words white and male as requisites for voting, but unfortunately, the white male delegates to the Constitutional Convention failed to adopt that proposal. Well, the story goes on. In 1851, she presided at the Akron Women's Rights Convention, and over the objections of some of the attendees, permitted an unscheduled Sojourner Truth to speak after a local male minister had come forward to criticize women's rights. Truth's words became known as the "Ain't I a Woman" speech. However, the famous miles away from the Confederacy. She was quite a character. And history didn't end in the 1800s. Looking around this room today, I see women still making history, doing important work with service organizations like Together Women Rise or Women's Home, or working with people of other religions through Northwest Ohio Multi-Faith. And it's not just women. I see men here who service, where we tell you what's on the calendar for this week. We give some announcements, and we also let you know what's up for right after the service. Next Sunday, join us for Spiritual Forum in the Fellowship Hall at 9:45 a.m. when Wes Calvis will give karate lessons. I want to be here for that, yes. And then for the 11 a.m. service, Jenny Gottman will bring a sermon entitled Sacred Imagination.
What?
Sacred Imagination. I'm looking forward to that.
I didn't know about the karate lessons. I'm super excited now. I'll be able to smash my ukulele soon. The final coming soon entry is for me. I skipped ahead. I'm sorry. Our church has many activities, some of which might actually interest you. Karate, ukulele. So you should really check out our website. It's updated a lot. It's at uutoledo.org or our UUFYI newsletter, which you can get off of our website or you can get delivered to you in your email. Another important coming soon announcement is to ask you to complete your annual stewardship support pledges to help meet our operating budget for the 2025 coming year, which I guess ends technically tomorrow will be the last day, so maybe do that soon, like tomorrow. That's the 30th. And after that, July 1st, I'll be your president, so you don't want to have me calling you on the especially after I learned karate. That's not anyway, the deadline is tomorrow, so please everyone, thank you so much for your support and for being present, being involved, for helping make this our a vital church, and help us fulfill your pledges. The next thing is, I know you probably all really want to go down and make coffee, which you will be able to soon, but I did want to talk about my t-shirt for a second. This t-shirt is the Spirit Will wear for Will Johnson's team in the very special league here in the Toledo area. It's for people with developmental disabilities and physical disabilities. They play baseball, and it is amazing. I've been to a million games. There's one at 6th tonight. It's at that place, Wolf Park, I think, where the pool is, in Long Beach. Anyway, I can give you more information if you need it. He loves it when people come out and support him. You should just see the smile on his face. Everybody gets to bat in this league, right? You go through the whole team. Everyone bats until they stand up there and they hit, until they hit the ball and they go to first. And then that goes around. Everybody comes in and scores once that everybody is the final batter. They clear the bases. But once they hit the ball, they get to bat and hit it. Then there's a bunch of other coaches throw the balls out, so everybody gets to steal the ball and throw it. I'm used to baseball, like where people are yelling at each other or competitive. This is like it's so heartwarming. It's like the loveliest thing I have seen in so long. So I encourage you to come out, ask Nicole, Will's mom about it, but it's just really awesome. So I love it when you
join me in saying the words on the screen.